Hi all, let's look at what percents are. Pair in percent means out of, but it can also be with respect to or according to, in relationship to, for each. Cent means 100. Century contains 100 years. There are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. 1% is out of 100. An interesting thing about decimal positional system is that if you have, let's say this is 0 point, the first number right after the decimal system is out of 10. So let's say you have 2 out of 10, this will give you 0 0.2, or 9 out of 10. That's a 0 0.9. The next positional place is out of 100. So let's say if I have 23 out of 100, this will calculate into 0 0.23. Or let's say we have 92 out of 100. This will calculate into 0 0.92. Now 1%, which is 1 out of 100, this will give us 0 0.01. Let's look at another interesting case when you have 100%. That's 100 out of 100, and this is 1. It takes 100 pieces to make one whole. The interesting thing about percents is that they would take original amount, which will be split into 100 pieces. You would be looking for a partition of the original amount. To change a decimal number to percent, you just need to multiply by 100%. When you multiply a decimal by 10, you would just move decimal place one time. When you multiply by 100, you would move it 2 times. So now we have 7. We fill in empty spot with a 0. So 0.7 is 70%. This is solution for A. In B, we have 0.0364. The procedure is the same. You just multiply by 100%. So we take this decimal, move it twice, and we get 3.64%. And this is our solution for B. 0.93 in percents, we multiplied by 100%, move the decimal twice, and we get 93%. This is solution for C. For D, 1.25, we multiplied by 100%, move the decimal twice, and we get 125%. And this is solution for D. Sometimes you need to change out of percent to a decimal for calculation purposes. Before we were multiplying by 100%. Now we're going to divide by 100%. Percent and percent would cancel out. We would have 25, and we would move decimal 1 2 places to the left. So 0.25 is our solution. Change 100% into a decimal. Once again, we divide by 100%. Something divided by itself is 1, so it's 1. 131%, we divided by 100%. Procedure is the same. Percents and percents would cancel, so 131. We need to move the decimal 1 2 places to the left. So we get 1.31, our solution for C. D has 7.3, we divided by 100% again. Percents would cancel. So we have 7.3. Take the decimal 1 2 places to the left. Fill in empty places with zeros. So we get 0.073. Solution for D. Calculating the percent of a number. The biggest thing in math word statements is that of means to multiply. And in order to perform the calculations, you also need to be able to change percents into decimals before calculating. So here we need to find 10% of 47. First thing we want to do is to change 10% into a decimal, so it's out of 100. Percent would cancel, zeros cancel. So move the decimal place one time, so we have 0.1. Of in math is multiply, and 47 stays the same. Multiplying by a decimal can be just like multiplying by a whole number. Just make sure you note how many decimal places you have. So right now we only have 1. Then we take 47 and we multiply by 1, because writing down number of decimal places takes care of the rest. So now we have 1 times 7, 7, 1 times 4, 4. And then you give the decimal place back, so 4.7 would be our solution. Here we have to find 2% of 450. First thing, we want to change percents into decimals. Percents cancel. So we have 1, 2, 0.02. Of in math is multiply. 450. So let's multiply 450 by 2. We have to take a note of decimal places. We have 1, 2 decimal places. Then we take 450 and we multiply it by 2 as if it was a whole number. So now we get 2 times 0, 0. 2 times 5, we get 10. 2 times 4, 8. So 900 would be the product. Before you move on, you have to give the 2 decimal places back. So 1, 2. So 9 would be solution to this problem. Here we need to find 183% of 12. It's also good to guesstimate. 183% is very close to 200%, which is double the amount. So the solution should be close to 20. First thing we want to do is change into decimals. So out of 100, this will cancel. We move 2 decimal places to the left, so we get 1.83. Of in math is multiply times 12. So let's take a note of decimal places, which we have 1, 2. By the way, if the second number had decimal places, you would add it to the tally. So we have 2 decimal places. If it had 12.1, you would have 3 decimal places. You add all of the decimal places together. Then I'm going to take the larger number, which is 183, and I'm going to multiply it by a smaller one, which is 12. So let's see, we have 2 times 3, 6, 2 times 8, 16, 2 times 1, 2, that was multiplying by 2, placeholder for 10, 1 times 3, 3, 1 times 8, 8, 1 times 1, 1. Now we add 6 plus 0, we have 6, 6 plus 3, 9, 2 plus 8, 10, plus 1, 11, so 1, carry 1, 2. Make sure to give the 2 decimal places back. We have 1, 2. 21.96 is our solution, which is good because 183% was very close to 200%, which would mean almost a double, and double of 12 would be 24, and we got really close solution. So you can kind of check your answers. That's all.